We have with us today Samantha. I'm so proud of Samantha. She is a teacher, a speaker, a life coach. She's helping women to get through situations in their life. Her and her husband, Mike Phillips, that will come up later, he's going to talk about finances today. They do a great job. They do something called Platinum Marriage. At the same time, I'm going to bring up Joanna Beasley. Joanna Beasley was on American Idol. She is a singer extraordinaire at the highest level. She helps us lead worship at the Congregation Church. And can you put up some information on Congregation? Mm-hmm. We've been having a lot of you that are watching that come to church on Sunday. Come to Sunday. I got a great message for you that will help you. Come every Sunday. We got a great team. I speak. Pastor Stefan Unias, he speaks. Pastor Paige Unias, she speaks. We got a great team of people, great team of volunteers, great men's group, do some things even at Biola University. And it'll be a group of about 3,000 people. We'll take it to about 3,000 people. We're growing towards those numbers. And it's good to have those kind of numbers because you just reach out and touch more people. But Joanna Beasley is here from American Idol to now life coaching women as well. She's doing young girls. She's doing girls, teenagers, their parents. Are you a parent that has a daughter that's struggling? Joanna Beasley can help. She's a woman of integrity. So Samantha and Joanna, come and visit me. I'm going to change chairs over here. Can the audience give them a big clap? All right, guys. Come on in. And come as close as you can. And then our cameraman can just kind of do a little moving on the camera. Samantha, let's talk with you. You see my notes. To walk worthy means deserving effort, deserving attention, deserving respect. To walk worthy of your calling, when I say deserving effort, what does that mean to you?
Well, deserving effort means putting some action with what your faith is or what your beliefs are, what your goals are. Because if you are not taking deliberate effort towards it, it's kind of like saying you don't really believe it. You're saying it silently. Okay. You know? So we're saying I have these goals, I have these dreams, but if I'm not willing to take steps towards them, that is the deserving effort.
Yes.
You know, just saying I might not be able to do everything. Okay. Even like what you're saying with the whole how we see coaches.
Yes.
Right? You know, they're not perfect, but people that succeed and move forward and get things accomplished understand that I may be going with, a limp.
Yes.
I might be going with something that's not perfect, but I'm taking the effort moving forward, and that makes it a deserving effort.
Okay, all right. So you said something that I really liked on this deserving effort, is that you could have an idea, right? And maybe they don't really believe that much in that idea if they're not giving the effort, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
How does that happen in a marriage? Okay, you see that many, many times. I want him to change. Mm-hmm. I want him to change, right? Mm-hmm. But maybe she is not giving the effort. She wants him to change. Mm-hmm. How can we help today with that?
I love this. I love this. See, I was just speaking with someone yesterday and we were discussing this very topic.
Okay.
And one of the things that I was expressing to this wife who has been hoping for change for a number of years.
Okay.
And it's not like a catastrophic thing where it's going to break them up, but it's a thing where, you kind of get tired of waiting and you're trying to poke and you're trying to inspire. And my encouragement to her was something that I learned very early. And that is that you have to be the change you want to see. And I know it's like such a cliche, but it really is. So I expressed to her, if you begin to take steps to be the best person you can be, to not allow what you perceive in him to be what holds you back in your destiny, if you go forward, but I'm still going to love you just as much. I'm not going to stop loving you, but I'm not going to stay stuck. So I'm going to keep moving forward, loving you, and trust that my effort kind of opens things up in the spirit to allow for change to happen everywhere. So instead of me focusing on why don't you do it, it's almost like I want change in my life, and when I'm married, if I'm not careful, I will hang that on whether you do it or not.
Yes.
But I can only control what I do. So if I do it and I still love you, even if you don't do it, eventually we're going to both be there.
I like that so much because let's from the man's perspective. and I'll even get Josh involved in this, is that sometimes we get a stigma or a label, okay? Where then, let's say if you're in a relationship with somebody and they say, well, that's the way he is. Or, you know, he's moody, or he's grouchy, or he doesn't take time with the kids like he should. So there's a stigma. But so if you have put that label on your spouse or even the person you're dating, that's not fair, right?
No, it's not fair.
Okay.
It's not fair.
Because you're speaking, I want them to change, but yet you've labeled them as though that's going to be permanent rather than temporary.
I think what it is that so often we don't understand the power of what we believe.
Okay.
So if anybody, and I've said this again to so many wives, if nobody else thinks he's a hero, you need to be the one person in the world that does.
Okay, even if he's being a rascal, I'm not talking about cheating, but I'm just saying, let's say he's just lazy. I mean, some of these guys are sorry that the 17 days of the Olympics is over, because they're like, they just want to lay around, right? And watch the high jump.
Well, I say it like this, you know, and I think I used to confuse him in the early days, and he's never been lazy a day in his life, but there would be times when I knew to speak life, but then you get frustrated, you're human, and I think that all of that works together towards change. So there would be times in a moment of frustration where I might say, you're being a jerk, you know, and he's like, you always tell me I'm a loving, honest, awesome man of God, and I'm like, well, I say that too, but you're also a jerk. And well, you're being, no, I'm not being schizophrenic, you are also a jerk, but I'm not going to tell you're a jerk every day, you know, because in your jerk days, whatever I speak to is what I'm going to get more of.
That's good. I mean, it really is. I mean, if you take it in, it can change you. Right now, don't forget to share with people and let them know that we are on Facebook Live. Tell people. Some of you have gigantic followings, and tell people, but also tell us how these responses from our experts are benefiting your life. Joanna, let's take the same thing about deserving effort. We're talking about walking worthy of your calling. So let's say there's a young teenager. She wants to do well. She sees other people on television, wants to do that. Deserving effort for you to get to where you did in music, in vocally, playing instruments. Talk to us about deserving effort. You have to give the effort.
Yeah, you have to give the effort. That's the number one thing. And you know, you talk about, and Paige talked about this at the congregation Sunday, you know, what's the call that God, what has God called you out to do? So there's that call, and the word says that he will never take that call back. Like once he's placed this on you, once this is your gifting, this is your calling, he's not going to take that back. So it's important for us to know that and remember that, because then we can say, if this is what I'm called to, if this is what God has gifted me and designed me to do, how can I partner with him to get this thing going?
Okay.
Because, you know, a lot of people, we talk about, well, God's going to take care of it. Well, God's in control. Okay, well, we have this amazing God who created us and is working all things together for our good. But we can't forget that he's given us free will. He's given us choice. He's given us the ability to think for ourselves, to work for ourselves. And so how can we come alongside God, partner with him to really get this thing going? And we talked about this, Tim, the very first World Shaker Summit that we did. A lot of it is a choice. You've got to choose to get up in the morning. You've got to choose to wash your face. You've got to choose to take that 20 minutes, like Picasso said. Even if your day is too busy, you got to take 20 minutes and reflect, you know, and get right, so you know, like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do today. This is what I'm gonna focus on. But really, I want to say that the other thing that I think is extremely important is it is a choice, and we got to just do it sometimes. But we need to start working out of our hearts instead of out of our brain, because we can, our effort can go all day long, and it can go, I mean, we've all had those days, right, where we're like 3 hours of sleep for like 2 weeks straight, you know, and you got too much to do, and you're trying to get it all done, or you got a big project coming up that you got to finish, and we're working all day long. But when we're working out of our own capacity, our brain, what we can intellectually think, we can only go so far, because we're spirit beings, right? We have this part of us, that spirit, that lives on the inside of us. And the Bible says that out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so what's in our heart is going to come out, even if we're not paying attention to it.
Yeah. I watched this show on OWN called Greenleaf. And I know some of the actors that are on that, and they had told me about it before it even started. But then I got kind of caught in it. Have you seen it yet, Josh?
I'm obsessed. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really
Greenleaf is wild.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe that Greenleaf amplifies so much that happens in the church. I don't see that much really happens at one time. But it is very creative.
Yeah, it's good.
And it has me really pulled in. Greenleaf on OWN, you should watch it. And shout out to all my actor friends that are on that. But on the show, there's a character. It's a lady. She has a teenage daughter, and the daughter's getting to the phase where she doesn't want to buy into everything the mother's saying, and she does a lot of rolling of the eyes. Okay, all right. So Joanna, because you are helping us with mothers and their daughters, how do you handle a daughter that does not want to walk worthy of her calling with deserving effort, and she's in the rolling of the eyes stage? Tell our people.
Oh my goodness. So you have to start with understanding who you are called to be in her life. Okay? So like Samantha was saying, was so good with a spouse. Who is she called to be in her husband's life? She's called to encourage him, be the one that says he's the hero, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about that in the same concept with your child. Who are you called to be in their life? You're called to love her, to guide her, to direct her, to encourage her. And that's got to start with you leading that example by leading it in your own life.
Yes.
You know, if you're constantly saying, well, you got to do this, this, and this, but then you're not fulfilling the things that you say you have to do,
okay,
you know, that's going to speak to her. Well, you're not doing it, so why do I need to do it? Or you're not treating this person this way.
Because you're saying they're watching.
They're totally watching. And the other thing is they don't believe until they see. A lot of times, I mean, we all act like this. We don't believe until we see. And so she wants to see where your heart is for her as well. So she wants to see you living out, but she also wants to see where your heart is for her. And when you start to speak to her heart instead of her actions,
okay,
then like I was talking about earlier, things are going to come out of your heart that you don't even know are coming out because they're deep rooted in there. So when she starts to believe deep in her heart that you have this care for her regardless of what she ends up being or where she ends up going, and you believe in her because she's yours, because you love her, that's going to start giving her this empowerment that just starts welling up on the inside of her, and she's going to start acting, you know.
I like that.
She's going to start acting it out on accident almost.
So one more question to Samantha, then I'm going to have you tell everybody how to get a hold of both of you guys. The difference between being a parent and being their buddy. That's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want your kids to be bothered with you like, oh, mom. And tell the folks again how many children you have.
6.
So 6 kids.
6 children.
And then, you know, your husband Mike sits right there. And you guys are young, you're hip, you're cool. People think you're young, hip, you're cool. Isn't it weird to have your kids bothered with you?
Yeah,
it's like, oh, mom.
Yeah, we're cool to everybody but our kids. I think they think we're cool. I really do. I think they're just hiding it.
Yeah.
They're hiding it. But you know, at the end of the day, and I was thinking about what you were saying, it's so true. It's such a balance, and it's something that I think we learn, and it's different with each kid. That's the thing too. You know your child, but I think the key is like what she's saying is you have to speak to the greatness that's in them because you don't want to multiply something negative, but you also have to understand that they are teenagers. And teenagers roll their eyes, whether it doesn't matter. You're a parent, you're going to get on their nerves. So I had to learn that I can't take it personal.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's like I'm a grown up, you're a kid, and you may think you're grown, but you're still a kid.
Okay.
And so they also do know that there's a line, you know,
like that
and there's
answer.
a place where I say, okay, now I'm cool with you. And either we can keep being cool, and I'm a little old school, I'll admit I'm a little old school, either we can keep being cool or it can get where you want it to go, and then that's going to be negative. So you won't enjoy it, I won't enjoy it. Let's just keep it on respect,
yes.
you know? And so I will draw the line and say, listen now, I don't disrespect you, and I don't want you to disrespect me. And I think it's, you know, drawing boundaries that are healthy.
I like it. Okay, thousands of people watch this, and how can they get a hold of you, Samantha, with you and Michael, what you guys are doing with Platinum Marriage? How do they find out more about it?
PlatinumMarriage.com, and then also we're on Facebook, so you can like our Platinum Marriage page. It's Platinum Marriage Coach on Facebook, and it is PlatinumMarriage.com.
Yeah, and write that down, and Josh, you'll put that down for us?
Yes.
platinummarriage.com. Get a hold of them by Facebook. Do it right now. So out of sight, out of mind. Okay. Do it right now and get a hold of Samantha. Find out more. I would also say that Samantha and Mike, they travel around, they speak, they do seminars, they speak at churches, they speak at the biggest churches in America. But it's not just that, they'll come to all size churches and speak, or other events, secular events that are not having to do with church related. And then